Hello everyone, I am
Purushottam, working as Assistant Professor in Department of Mechanical Engineering, Maharaja Institute of Technology, Mysore. Today's session is about one of the design lab experiment, that is whirling of shaft. So before conduction of the experiment, we have to know what is the aim of the experiment and apparatus we have to use. Then the theory behind it. That means what is the need of the conduction of this experiment. So the aim of the experiment is to calculate or determine critical speed, or we can also call it as whirling speed. Critical speed or whirling speed, both theoretically as well as practically or experimentally. So the apparatus we are going to use is the shaft setup. So for this, so I will just remove this. This will be the shaft setup. The shaft which is connected to the electric motor by using universal coupling. So this will be the dimmer. So the dimmer which is used to the control the speed of the rotating shaft, as well as we have to use the digital tachometer to record the RPM, that is the speed of the rotating shaft. So now, before conduction of this experiment, so we have to know the meaning of critical speed or winding speed. For this, the basic thing is we need to understand what you mean by vibration and resonance, all these things, basic definitions. Without knowing these, the basic definitions, so we can't understand the concept of critical speed. For this, first of all, what do you mean by mechanical vibrations? Mechanical vibrations are oscillations, so within a interval of time period. That means, for example, if you can take, this will be the simple pendulum. So I will call it as, this will be the mean position or equilibrium position. So if you are giving some displacement, initial displacement, then so it will start to oscillate to one extreme end. I will call this as point A, then again which comes back to point mean position, then which returns to the another extreme condition, that is point P. So when you give the initial displacement, the pendulum will start to oscillate like this. This will be called as the vibration. So in the definition, we see that mechanical vibrations are oscillation which repeats within a time period. So that means we need to know what you mean by time period. So for time period, we have to know the cycle. That means when you give the initial displacement from the mean position, the pendulum which reaches the point A, one extreme end, then which again comes back to the mean position and again which moves on to the another extreme end, point B. So which repeats, that means from point A to point B, again which comes back to the point B to point A, then we can call it as one cycle. So if we can consider one cycle, then the pendulum has to move from mean position to point A, then point B, again from point B to point A, which is called as one cycle. Now the time period is the number of cycles or time taken to cover for one cycle, which is called as time period. So then another important basic definition is natural frequency. Natural frequency, which is number of cycles per unit time. So we know the meaning of cycle. Now the number of cycles per unit time. That means unit for natural frequency we can take it as hertz or RPS, that is revolutions per second. For example, if you are taken 50 hertz or 50 RPS, that means 50 revolutions per second. That means the vibrating body which is going to cover 50 cycles in 1 second. That is the meaning of hertz. Then coming back to the amplitude. Amplitude means the maximum displacement of the vibrating body from the equilibrium position. In this example itself, this will be the mean position, the maximum displacement, that is one extreme end. One extreme end. The distance between the mean position and another one extreme end, which is called as displacement, which is called as amplitude. Then, so in vibration there are we can categorize into two major parts. One is free vibration, another one is forced vibration. Free vibration means when you are not going to apply any force on a mechanical system or body after giving some initial displacement, as in case of simple pendulum. After giving initial displacement, it starts to oscillate. Then that type of vibration, which is called as free vibration, then the corresponding frequency, which is called as natural frequency. As we know, each machine element or mechanical member which possesses on its own natural frequency. That means the shaft or gear or bearing or whatever the machine elements which is having its own natural frequencies. Okay, then for example for free vibration is simple pendulum. Now coming to the forced vibration. So that means the body which starts to vibrate under the influence of external force, which is called as forced vibration. So which is also called as excitation frequency. That means the corresponding frequency which is induced due to the forced vibration, which is called as excitation frequency. Example for forced vibrations are machine tools and electric bells. Oh, okay, you can see the electric bells which are installed in the college itself. That means the excitation frequency. That means when you switch on the power supply, which comes under in the form of some frequency, so which matches with the natural frequency of the bell. So then the bell starts to ring. That means which is called as forced vibration. Now, when the excitation frequency which matches with the natural frequency of the machine element, then that condition which is called as resonance. So excitation frequency which matches or which is equal to the natural frequency of the machine element, which is called as resonance. At resonance condition, the body which starts to vibrate at high amplitudes. So at worst case, which will leads to the failure of the machine member or mechanical element. So that means we have to avoid this resonance condition to enhance the durability of the machine element. Now coming to this one. So here we have to know the meaning of critical speed. At this, the excitation frequency which is induced due to this electric motor, then which is matches with the natural frequency of the shaft, then the resonance condition is occurred. When the resonance condition is occurred at the rotating shaft, then the shaft tends to vibrate violently like this. The shaft tends to vibrate violently in a transverse direction. At a particular speed. That means the resonance condition which is going to occur at a particular speed, that speed which is called as critical speed or whirling speed. Critical speed or whirling speed. So the shaft here which is going to vibrate in transverse direction. That means which is the particles in the shaft which is vibrate perpendicular to the axis of the shaft. So this is called as transverse vibration. So now we know the meaning of critical speed. That means at resonance condition, the rotating shaft, that is excitation frequency which is matches with the natural frequency of the rotating shaft, then the shaft which is going to vibrate violently, which is called as critical speed. Okay. Now this resonance condition, this concept which is already studied in 5th semester dynamics of machine modules. So this experiment which helps us to understand the resonance, theoretical resonance concept practically. Okay. Then need of this experiment, as we know, the mechanical systems or machine which is comprises of the rotating machine elements like gears, shafts or bearing. So if you need to avoid this critical speed range, then we can avoid the amplitude or over violently vibrating body. So that means which enhances the durability of the machine element. Now let's conduct the experiment. So as I said, so the aim of the experiment is to find out the critical speed theoretically as well as experimentally. So theoretically we can calculate by using some standard equations. Now experimentally we are going to calculate the critical speed by using this setup. So the setup which comprises of the shaft, then the shaft which is connected to the electric motor by using universal coupling, and the speed of the shaft which is regulated by using this dimmer. Then the speed of the rotating shaft which is going to calculated by using this digital tachometer. Now first of all, let's switch on the power supply. So you can see that the specifications of the shaft is given. So the diameter of the shaft is given by 5 millimeter, so which is in terms of meter is given by 0.005 meter. Then the length of the shaft, so this one from here to here, the length of the shaft is 950 mm, which is in terms of meter is 0.95 meter. Then the density of the shaft material which is also given, which is 7800 kg per meter cube. Then elastic modulus of the shaft material, that is Young's modulus, is also given 207 gigapascal. So as we know that giga means 10 power 9, 207 into 10 power 9 Newton per meter square. So in this we all maintain the units, the linear measurement in terms of meter. Okay. Now first I will switch on the power supply. You can see this. So here we are also having one switch. So this will be the on position, this will be the off position. Now I am going to turn on the apparatus. Now I am slowly going to start the dimmer in clockwise direction. That is going to impart the rotary motion for the shaft. Now you can see the shaft which starts to rotate. So if you keep on increasing the dimmer rotation, the speed of the shaft which also increases. Slowly move the dimmer in clockwise direction. Now you can see some vibration in the shaft material. Now you can see the shaft which is going to vibrate as transverse direction. Now the single loop or the first mode of the building of shaft is formed. You can see the loop which forms like this. The single loop, we can see this. Now at this time we have to record the RPM of the shaft. So I am going to use the digital tachometer. So I am going to place here. These are some observations which is already seen in the experimental setup. So now the diameter of the shaft which is 5 to 10 power minus 3 meter. L is mean by length of the shaft which is 0.95 meter. Then rho is density of the shaft material which is given by 7800 kg per meter cube. Then Young's modulus of the shaft material which is given by 207 megapascal, that is 207 into 10 power 9 Newton per meter square. Now coming to the first mode, or we can call it as single loop. So here, we need to calculate or determine the critical speed or building speed. So for that, we have to first calculate the critical frequency. That is the corresponding frequency of the critical speed, which is called as critical frequency. So which is given by FC1, that is frequency of critical speed at first mode, FC1. So which is given by 2.45 into square root of E into I, that is Young's modulus into mass moment of inertia divided by m into L power 4. M means mass per unit length and L is the length of the shaft. Here you can see I means mass moment of inertia. For the circular section, that means the shaft is having circular section which is given by pi d power 4 by 64. So once you substitute the values of diameter, then you will get a value of 3.0679 into 10 power minus 11 meter power 4. Then mass per unit length, the M notation which is given by mass per unit length which is given by area into density, that is pi by 4 into d square into density of the material. If you solve this, you will get 0.1531 kg. Now, if you are going to substitute here, that is value of Young's modulus and mass moment of inertia and mass per unit length and length of the shaft, then you will get the frequency or critical frequency which is equal to 7.48 Hz, or we can also call it as 7.48 RPS, that is revolutions per second. But what we need the speed, revolutions per minute. For this purpose, I am going to multiply. If you want to critical speed, that is MC1 at first mode, so I am going to multiply it with 60, then you will get the 1049 RPM. That is, I am going to converting the frequency into speed here. Then, for the second mode or the loop, the double loop which is formed on the second mode, the critical frequency equation is given by FC2, which is equal to 7.95 into square root of E into I by M into L power 4. So now I am going to substitute the values of Young's modulus, mass moment of inertia, and M value as well as the length of the shaft. Then you will get 56.73 Hz. So that is in RPS. Now what we need critical speed at second mode. For this purpose, I am going to multiply with 60. Then you will get 3403.9 RPM for the second loop. Now we have found out the critical speed for building of shaft theoretically at first mode NC1 and at second mode. And while conducting the experiment, we have also found critical speed for first mode and second mode experimentally. Now we can see the result. NC1 theoretically, that is the critical speed at first mode theoretically, which is given by 1049 RPM, but while conducting the experiment we have got 1285 RPM. In the same way, for the second mode or double loop, we get theoretical value as 3403.9 RPM. So while conducting the experiment, we got 344.5 RPM. So there is some variation between the theoretical values as well as the practical values. These variations is due to some unbalanced force act on the experimental setup, as well as while deriving these theoretical equations, we made some assumptions. So due to that, we got some variations. So this is about the experiment.